Hi there, everybody. Mike Petras here again, your Star Realtor of Star and the Treasure Valley, back with another educational video for you this week. It's going to be kind of short and sweet, but today we are going to talk about inflation rates and how it reflects in the housing market. We'll get to all that information right after this. Hi there, everybody. Welcome again back after the break. Again, I'm Mike Petras, your Star Realtor of Star and the Treasure Valley. Here we're going to tackle inflation rates and how it's going to affect the housing market popping up. So we're going to go ahead and dive into that detail here momentarily. But real quick, before we do dive into that information, go ahead and click on that subscribe button below, and below too, also in the description section, if you are thinking about making a move here to the greater Boise, Idaho area, please feel free to click and download your free relocation guide, which will give you all sorts of information about what it is that you do want to know out here in the Treasure Valley. Of course, if you do click on that subscribe button too, you'll also see my videos that break down the housing market that's happening here in the Treasure Valley monthly, plus also educational videos and videos regarding different places and cities here within the Treasure Valley that really kind of break it down and make it personalized so that you know all the information you need to know before you decide to make the move here. So let me go ahead and transfer everything over to my PowerPoint presentation, and we'll go ahead and discuss how inflation in the housing market works hand in hand together and how investing in housing can be a good idea. Let's get to that. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and let's dive into how buying a house can hedge against inflation. Now, we all know, I'm sure that you've seen it on social media and you've seen it in the news, that our inflation rates have absolutely skyrocketed since the new administration has taken hold. And if you know anything about inflation, you know that when it does increase, all goods and services come up with it, which is known as the consumer price index. Housing is going to go up with that, and especially rentals too as well. So if you are renting, you do have a lease agreement, maybe the next time around your lease agreement won't be as cheap as it was before. Okay, we do know that it did jump 5% for the 12 months ending in May, the highest annual increase that has been since August of 2008. And that was an article that was taken back in May, so that we do know that inflation has actually jumped up even further till today. But one of the best ways is that if you're sitting on cash and you're thinking about, what to do with it, one of the best ways to hedge against inflation is to invest in real estate, especially when the mortgage rates are as low as they are. And right now they are still low, and I will get to daily figures here today so that you can understand. But keep in mind, though, the Fed has recently been talking about jumping up the mortgage rates because as inflation does increase, well, so does mortgage rates. Mortgage interest rates will come up right with them. Okay, so as inflation rises, the cost of everything goes up, including real estate. So those of you that own a home right now and you're thinking, because I know here in the Treasure Valley, we have hit our plateau overall in terms of just not the crazy 23.7% that we were having over the last couple of years. But if inflation rates continue to rise, sellers keep that in mind that your home prices are probably going to come up with it. If you're a buyer and you're waiting, for that crash, inflation is actually working against you in this aspect, considering that, our inventory might be on the rise, but the demand here in the Treasure Valley is still right up there, sucking up those homes. So, keep in mind, if you can lock in a low interest rate, fixed mortgage buyers, then the cost of your home, an appreciating asset, which we believe that because inflation is going to be on the rise here, will appreciate, and your mortgage rates will stay the same value of as your property rises. So if you wait and say the Fed does go ahead and jump up that rate 1%, which they're anticipating of doing in 2022, I'm not the Fed. I don't know how much they're really going to raise it. They could raise it higher. The more, for every percent that they do raise it up, you can tack on another 10% to your mortgage. That is literally a great rule of thumb when it comes to these interest rates. So even quarter points are going to be chopping up more to what it's going to cost for your monthly mortgage payment. And that's free money for the bank. You don't want to give them that. Nobody wants to give them that. So hedging, buying real estate right now, if you've been on the fence, considering that interest rates are as low as they are, might be a good time to reconsider this. And considering also that inflation rates will probably continue to skyrocket or raise our home values at maybe abnormal levels in what we might have in just a pure normal market across the board. So if you do, like I said, if you do have cash and you are expecting inflation, putting your money, you want to put your money somewhere where it doesn't lose its value. And housing is commonly looked at as a good inflation hedge, okay, in this aspect. Not saying that the market couldn't crash. There's just no indicators of it right now. Forbearance was one of the last ones. If you do want to watch my prior video on forbearance, I'll go through that because people are coming out of forbearance. That might have been able to do it, but it's just not looking so in that aspect. And considering that buyers do have equity or sellers have equity in their home, if they did find themselves in trouble when it comes down to forbearance, a lot of them are selling their homes and finding something else to move into, and everything gets paid, done, and they walk away and find something else. Okay, on the flip side, one of the things that, I'm going to kind of tell you to stay away from is some people will put their, cash in a savings account. Well, you're really not going to make the kind of money, in a savings account that you would say if that you invested that money into a home. Even though the banks, they do usually pay, higher interest rates, if you put it into the savings account during inflationary periods, it won't, and most likely won't outperform what investing in housing can do. So again, we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier. Inflation's going up, home prices are going up, the mortgage rates eventually will come up with the inflation, all that. So right now we're kind of sitting pretty, but we don't know how much longer that's going to be until the Fed decides to change their mind on the mortgage rates. Okay. So 3 ways to purchase a home, that is reliable, against or hedging against inflation. Sorry, I'm just trying to move myself out of the way over here. So typically inflation does usher in higher prices for everything, including mortgage rates, as I talked about, home prices, and for renters, even your rental costs. Right now, the average rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage is bouncing around the low 3%. We'll get to that next. And as inflation increases, mortgage rates will likely climb, as we just spoke about. So folks who can lock in a low rate right now can avoid paying higher interest rates later. You don't want to pay higher interest rates. It's just free money you're giving away to the bank. And if you've got the means, you're looking at this market, you're on the fence, this is a good time, buyers, to take a look at this. And property values, they're going to increase over time. Considering inflation, like I mentioned a couple of times now here in this video, the more that inflation does rise, we're anticipating the home values to go up with it, which might take us out of the normal range of, here in the Treasure Valley. On a normal market, it's about 4% per year. So that could actually jack that up. Sellers, pay attention to that. So just to kind of, stop with all this, I just kind of wanted to go ahead and mention where the rates are at today. The last time that we got to 3.2s was last month, and you can see that they've kind of went down and up and down and up. They actually hit a really good low there back on the 8th of November, but now they're at 3.27. The Fed has talked about a teaser. So meaning the teaser is that they're teasing up the interest rates. Okay, and they're teasing it to see how this whole picture is going to work out. But they have gone in articles, and I do really encourage you to head out there, get on the internet, read these articles about what the Fed might have in mind. Now, we don't have a crystal ball as to when the Fed is actually going to do it, but they have talked actively about increasing the mortgage interest rates in 2022. So that's right around the corner. So buyers, if you are on the fence, now is a good time to really start looking in there, because it's just inflation is going to cost you more money. as it comes across from interest rates and home prices, just pure and simple. Sellers, since we're down here, let me go ahead and get out of this. So sellers, if you've been wondering, should I sell my house right now? Well, we have plateaued, okay, in terms of the prices. We're not going up at a crazy 23.7% interest or 23.7% equity gain that we did for the last couple of years. We have definitely turned that corner and plateaued. But inflation could, jump it up and still bring our home values up maybe to beyond what would normally be average in an everyday market. So buyers, sellers, I've kind of said my piece in terms of where I think that this kind of stands with inflation the way that it's going. Definitely keep your eye on the news. Inflation is constantly raising every single month since this new administration has taken over, and I don't think there's any really dispute to that. So anyways, thank you very much. I know this was kind of short and sweet. I do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Again, click on the subscribe button down below. Subscribe to my channel here. Click the notification bell so that anytime I come out with a new educational video like this, Mikey's Mortgage Monthly Updates, or I go around and interview new restaurants and nightlife, or even show you wonderful activities to do around the Treasure Valley, you'll be constantly in tune to all of that. Also, again, if you're looking to relocate to this area, please click the description below. You will see a link to my free relocation guide for you that will lay out all the Treasure Valley for you. I mean, it talks about, medical out here, jobs, the cities. It gives you that insight into what this place is all about before you decide to make the move. And of course, if you are thinking of making the move and you have some further questions, please feel free to reach out to me and give me a call. You can reach me at area code 208-715-STAR. That's 208-715-7827. I look forward to hearing from you. Well, thanks again, everybody, for watching this video. I'm signing out. God bless you all. I look forward to hearing from you, and I look forward to the day that I can call you my neighbor. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.